Soy you. Pikachu and Unknown blow at spelling. Goes to show you how useless the Unknown are. Alright, what's the major game announcement gonna be? Its opening is quite promising. Maybe we'll get a prequel, like a Legends game to Unova, like we're expecting here? Possibly Johto? Unsure. What? Those are Kalos Pokemon! This is clearly Lumiose City! That's one of the details I love about this franchise, Allastor. The unpredictability. Why would they skip Unova to do Kalos? Ah, hang on, got a call. How'd you like that, Creepus Kitsune? Nathan never laps. Hi guys, Kalosian here with another Pokemon video. I'm joined with a couple of my many Pokemon OCs that the world doesn't know about yet in this video. Meet Allastor Zoroark and Nathan Greninja. What up? They kinda hate each other. So, earlier this week, the Pokemon Presents aired on Pokemon Day. As goes for yearly Pokemon updates, they always have significant updates on their anniversary. This year was definitely a calmer one than some other years in terms of significant game announcements, with pretty much all we got this year just being updates to the current mobile games like Pokemon Unite and Pokemon Masters and stuff, as well as a mobile trading card game for anybody that likes the trading card game. The main game that we got announced in this Pokemon Presents, of course, was Pokémon Legends Z-A, which was shown in a mere announcement without showing any gameplay or real confirmations at the very end. This will be a new entry to the Pokémon Legends series following Pokémon Legends Arceus, and is set in Lumiose City in the Kalos region. Why would they skip Unova to do Kalos? There were lots of Unova hints in Scarlet and Violet's Blueberry Academy. First of all, Gen 5 sucked. Second of all, Kalos has more unanswered questions than any other region since its follow-up gamer games never saw the light of day. I agree with Nate, actually. I'm quite glad that we didn't get the Unova and Johto remakes like they were apparently rumored, because I just wasn't really into Gen 5, to be honest. I never played Black and White original, I only played the sequels, and they were my least favorite mainline Pokemon games. They had bad replayability in my opinion. The way that effort values and individual values worked in Gen 5 was a bit weird, and I hated triple battles. I struggled to do those. So I'm glad that they weren't required in Gen 6 and were cut completely in Gen 7 and onward. Mind you, I'm more of a casual, I'm not a competitive battler. For some reason, a lot of people were also expecting Johto remakes, which I didn't get where people were getting off at. I just was not into the possibility of another game that was like Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. In general, you know, those games just didn't look right to me. So, now let's talk about the new game, Pokémon Legends Z-A. As I mentioned before, this is a game set in Lumiose City in the Kalos region. So it's a sequel or a prequel, one or the other, to Kalos. Apparently, the entire game is going to be set in Lumiose City, not just Kalos as a whole. They'd have to make the city freaking massive if it's the only setting of the game, bigger than all Hisui. They'll manage it. You've seen other games do justice with a one-city setting like Grand Theft Auto. I'll never forgive myself for mentioning that game on YouTube. My personal guess is that maybe Lumiose City will have a subdivision, and like how Hisui has different sections based on what would later become Sinnoh that you explore. Maybe Lumiose City could do that with the 5 different colored plazas from the original Kalos region. And each one has different sections and different environments that would have different Pokemon and trainer battles in them. That's what I personally think they're going to do. So, according to what's detailed about the game so far, the plot of Z-A is to rebuild Lumiose City to form a perfect place where humans and Pokemon can coexist in harmony. This is definitely not going to be a distant past setting game like Pokémon Legends Arceus was. It'll be more like a more recent past, or maybe even the future for all we know. Like, shortly afterward or shortly before Kalos. There's no confirmation if this is going to be a prequel or a sequel, just so you know. We have no information apart from that, or even any gameplay clips of the game whatsoever. The trailer was merely a teaser, and basically confirmed the mere setting of the game and some of the returning Pokemon that will be available for playing it. For legal reasons, I cannot play other video game companies' trailers in my own videos, so I'll just show screenshots. So after the little blueprint note at the beginning of the trailer, we see a Pikachu running through Lumiose City. You can clearly see him passing through some Litleos and Pyroars, which immediately caught my attention there that this was a Kalos game. After that, we see some more Kalos Pokemon, like Furfrou. And I want to point out also that Furfrou is one of the Pokemon that is still not available for use in any game on the Nintendo Switch as of yet. So, for that reason, making a Kalos game that's considerably mainline on the Switch does make sense, because it'd be the one and only chance for Furfrou to really be able to be usable on the Nintendo Switch console. Simisage, Simisear, and Simipour also appear in the original Kalos region in Pokemon X and Y, so perhaps they'll be in the game, despite being universally hated by all. You never know. That doesn't exactly help Watchog or Alolan Raticate, though. They're left to be in the dark. Nobody cares about Watchog, and nobody cares about Alolan Raticate. We also can't forget about Spinda. Just in case you didn't know this, the Pokemon Spinda, if you catch it in Brilliant Diamond or Shining Pearl, cannot be moved to or from Pokemon Home, even in those games. That was one of the details that ILCA messed up about those titles. And, Spinda's not even in Kalos, so that doesn't help. Nobody cares about Spinda either. Oh, you guys, every Pokemon is liked by some people. Some are just loved more than others, and some are just hated more than others. And some are just plain downright forgettable. That's part of life. So from there, we go on to the scene of what looks like a lake or a pond, one or the other. Just before they show the Gyarados, you can see Hawlucha, as well as a Dragonair leaping out of the water. So Dragonite is gonna be in the game. Cheers. After that, we can see a battle between a Sylveon and an Aegislash, which might not be a good idea for Sylveon. That'd be regret from A to Z. Yeah, Sylveon's at a type disadvantage, and the Aegislash is a Pokemon you'd be a Blood Maple to mess around with. In case you wonder what a Blood Maple is, it's a randomly selected combination of words I use to replace certain offensive terms like the R-word. Thank you, Allastor, for being considerate on the part of use of certain words around people like myself. Need I mention? So at the same with the Sylveon and Aegislash, we can see a Crocodile. We can see the Crocodile line. We can also see Pinsir and Heracross, which are opposites that happen to have Megas. Onix as well. Steelix does have a Mega. Then the scene zooms out to show a Talonflame flying around the Prism Tower, thoroughly confirming that this was in fact Lumiose City. Then zooming out even more to show the whole overview, followed by the game logo. They then just announced after the name of the game that it'll be releasing worldwide next year on Nintendo Switch. And then they also showed the Mega Evolution symbol. By default, because this is a Kalos game, it does make perfect sense for Mega Evolutions to return. And I just so happen to have a Z-Ring right here in real life, and my cartoon avatar has a keystone on his left gauntlet. So you can tell just by looking at my content that I do like the Mega Evolutions, as do a lot of other people. And people have been begging for new Mega Evolutions to come to the series, which I always thought was impossible until this point. So, it'll be interesting to see if there are any new Pokemon to get Mega Evolutions that didn't originally have them in the Gen 6 games. Mega Zoroark, please. I wouldn't set your hopes up. Zoroark already got a regional form in PLA. Mega Kalos starters are more likely. Only problem is Greninja already had Ash Greninja, and Chestnut and Delphox are essentially garbage. Allastor, your wife is a Braixen. Yeah, and she used to be your colleague. You're a lunatic with no fashion sense. Specific people would beat the guy up for wearing pink. You have pink around your neck. A big, slimy, disgusting pink tongue. You're anti-Semitic. You're a sad sack. Elitist. Blood maple. Break it up, you guys. You guys aren't even supposed to be able to speak human language. You're freaking Pokemon. Ribbit? I can talk if I freaking want. 'Cause I can be anyone I want, poser. Alright, I had to solve some technical issues between these guys. Anyways, Pokémon Legends Z-A, the title itself, obviously a reference to Zygarde, the legendary Pokémon to coincide with Xerneas and Yveltal from the Kalos region. Of course, Pokémon X and Y were the only games in the main series to not get a follow-up game. If it was going to get follow-ups, they were cancelled before they could be announced. So, this could be the makeup for that as well. Do you think there will be a connection with the AZ character? Z-A is a Z backwards. Some people, might be talking about the AZ character from the Kalos region, since he has eternal life and has been around for like 3,000 years, I think he says. So he could possibly appear in the game as well. There might even be a distribution of AZ's Floette, which was an event exclusive that never officially got released in X and Y as well. Per chance. Again, this game will be releasing in the upcoming year. So, there's no confirmation if it'll be early next year or late next year. I'm sure it'll be early next year. Everyone's straining that the next system will be released in the upcoming year's first half. Whilst everyone is talking about these alleged rumors about the Switch's successor, I take these with a grain of salt. If it's coming from an inside source other than Pyro, you shouldn't believe it. Yeah, Pyro's an actual leaker, let's face it. Any talk at the moment about the release of the next Switch console is just a rumor at the moment, so take from them what you will. If any information comes from Pyro, like they said though, it's probably true. That guy absolutely knows his stuff. Any other insider has ever been wrong before, so proceed with what they have to say with caution. Obviously, you know how the Switch games go. Not every Pokemon will be available for use in this game. My personal guess is that all, or almost all, of the Pokemon that appeared in the original X and Y will be in this game. Definitely all Gen 6 Pokemon will be, even the starters. Wow, it's not clear which starters will play a significant role in the game. And we'll probably also get all the Pokemon from the original X and Y that had a Mega Evolution. I'm not sure about the Mega Evolutions that debuted specifically in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, though, since a good number of those were not in X and Y. As more information about Pokémon Legends Z-A comes, I'll probably talk about it on my channel, as well as updates regarding Nintendo's next console as well. So until then, for a whole nother year, we're stuck with crappy Pokémon Scarlet and Violet. Having no Pokemon title released this year can't be all bad. Game Freak need to give us a break and put more effort into PLZA so they're not a glitchy helter-skelter like SV were. Yeah, we hated Scarlet and Violet for that reason. Yeah, and despite the fact that, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet did break some records with their sales and became massively selling Pokemon games available on the Switch, and of all games to this point, they were considerably a complete failure because of how glitchy they were. And believe me, I hated the games as well for that very reason. The bugs and lag in that game seriously detract from the fun of playing Paldea, so... In fact, I never even played Scarlet and Violet's DLC for that reason. I was that disappointed about the games. I didn't want to pay extra money for them, especially since the expansion for those games is more expensive than the expansion for Sword and Shield were. And I liked Sword and Shield and Pokémon Legends Arceus, so that's a shame. The longer a game takes, the better it will be. I hope this applies to Game Freak, because Game Freak have a tendency to screw up, to be quite honest, and Scarlet and Violet was a good example. So yeah, completely against what some insiders were saying before, Pokémon Legends Z-A is the only mainline game we'll be getting within the range of like a physical year. Unless a lesser game is announced at some point all of a sudden, which I doubt, because Pokemon prefer to do announcements their own way. Alright, so, that's really all I have to talk about in this video. The Pokemon OCs that I showed in this video are simply a parody. I'm not affiliated with or endorsed by Pokemon in any way. I'm just a fan that wanted to express my thoughts about what I think about this new game in my own personal style. And one of my strengths is being pretty decent at freehand art, which is why I started the Deviantart account. You can find me on Deviantart as Kalosian, same as my YouTube channel. There's a link on my homepage. And I already uploaded a few pretty good pictures that got a decent amount of favorites and made just a few watchers. So, if you're into fan art, you've come to the right place. I just gotta make it, is all. Consider subscribing if you like Pokemon YouTube videos about people giving their opinions on what is and will be in the franchise. I'll do activity videos like drawing Pokemon or stuff, and countdowns like top 10s or top 5s. And also be sure to check out some of my long plays of different games besides Pokemon, like Mega Man or Namco Arcade. I got Crash and Spyro in mind. Different stuff like those. So, that's about it for this video. I am Kalosian, the Master of Ponage. These are Allastor and Nate. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.
Take care. See ya.